Today's episode is sponsored by Brevitē. Welcome to Kevin Dale Photography, where I take you on my journey through photography. On today's episode, we're going to explore what's in my bag. Welcome to today's episode. If you're not familiar with Kevin Dale Photography, we do gear reviews, tips, techniques, and tutorials, and sometimes we dive into film. If any of that sounds appealing to you, click the subscribe button below. So I've been wanting to do an episode of what's in my bag for quite some time, and recently I got rid of my everyday pack. I currently have some sling bags and I currently have a very large travel backpack, but I don't have an everyday pack, which is a very important backpack to me. Well, right around that time, Brevitē reached out to me and asked me if I would do an episode of what's in my backpack. So, being that I needed an everyday backpack, Brevitē was able to supply one for today's episode and episodes beyond. So thank you to Brevitē. And they got me this jumper backpack in pine green. It's pretty cool. So let's dive into what's in my backpack. So first and foremost, the jumper backpack is a small camera backpack. It's compact, it's lightweight, it's very functional. While it has a minimalist and sleek design, it does not advertise to everybody out there that, hey, look at me, I'm a photographer and I have $20,000 worth of gear. That's exactly the type of backpack I'm looking for an everyday backpack. I've always been on a quest to get my bag smaller somehow, but still fit a lot of gear. As you just saw, I love using sling bags when I'm shooting street photography. The problem is I can't always do that, and I have to bring more gear usually, so I don't want a bag that's super big, but I do want the layout to be well thought out. The basic overview of it is that you have an upper and a lower compartment. The lower compartment comes with dividers to separate your camera gear and a master divider to separate it from the upper compartment. The only other thing to note is that this does come in two sizes, the regular size, which is what we're reviewing today. And then if you look at this today and think that you want something that maybe is a little bit bigger, they do make a larger version of it. It also comes in 11 different colors. And of course, in today's episode, we're going to be reviewing pine green. So let's explore the easy to get to parts of the backpack first. When I'm on the road and I have an emergency, I want to be able to get to my SD cards quickly, so I have a case where I keep backup SD cards. I also have to charge my batteries often, so I put my USB-C dual battery charger in there. Of course, I'm always editing on the road, so I have to have a laptop, so here's my laptop charging cable and my laptop charger. Speaking of charging, I always have my phone charging cable and a DC brick at all times in my backpack because you never know when you need to have power for your phone. Now in this section, there is extra room where you can put spare batteries and some other small odds and ends. You can basically fit your fist in each one of these pouches, so there's quite a bit of room. Moving on to the side, for all of you who want to carry tripods, you just unlatch this guy right here. There's a pouch on the side. You stick the leg of the tripod in there, you feed this guy through, and you hook him back in. That's really all there is to it. It's pretty stable. It's pretty sturdy. Now, if you find yourself needing to carry two tripods, rest assured you have these straps on the bottom where you can feed a tripod through, and you can carry two tripods. I personally like to use it to carry something like a poncho if it starts to get wet. Moving to the part that touches your back, as you can see right here, there is a luggage pass-through for those of you who need to put this guy on a roller bag and roll him around. That is a feature that I will fully take advantage of when I travel with this bag. Sticking to this part of the bag, maybe my favorite compartment. This is a secret compartment that touches your back at all times where you can keep your wallet, your passport, your phone, or anything that's important to you. And that's why I love this compartment, because I can keep personal items in there that I don't want people to mess with, and it's always touching my back at all times. Moving on to the first major compartment, the upper compartment. In today's episode, you're going to see that I have a day's worth of clothes in there. A shirt, underwear, socks, and shorts. Now, if I used a compression sack, I could probably keep another 2 days worth of clothes. So if you take 2 or 3 days worth of clothes and the clothes that are on my body, that means you could visit somewhere for 2 to 3 days and you'd be fine with this tiny little bag. Now, I also keep my spare batteries in there, and then there's a zipper where I keep my car keys and my toothbrush and my toothpaste and my deodorant. Basically, this is the part of the bag where I keep all my personal items. As I often find myself editing on the road, there is a compartment for my laptop, and this is where I store my 14-inch MacBook Pro. You can store up to a 16-inch laptop in this compartment. I find the padding is pretty comfortable. Now, this compartment does face upward, which makes it susceptible to rain, but rest assured, Brevitē made the zipper for this compartment waterproof. Now let's dive deep into the photography part of my bag. First, you see a quick, convenient side access compartment. Here you see a Fuji X-H2 with a Tamron 17-70 2.8 on there. Turning the bag around and going into the main bottom compartment, you can see right here I have 4 lenses, a Viltrox 75 1.2, a Fuji 70-300, a Fuji 23 1.4, and the aforementioned X-H2 with a 17-70 2.8. But I'm sure many of you are full frame users and you notice this is an APS-C setup, so I'm going to show you, don't worry, the Canon EOS R5 with a 28-70 f2 and an 85 1.2 fit rather nicely with a little slit here for some extra stuff, but basically 2 very large lenses. I tend to use my 85 1.2 more for headshots and indoor portrait sessions. For outdoor portrait sessions, I actually favor the 135 1.8, and rest assured, I put that in there, it fit with no issues. For you bird photographers, I have a Canon R7 with a 600mm lens and a 135 1.8, so there's plenty of room for a couple of telephotos. And for you film photographers, rest assured, check this out. I have a medium format Hasselblad with an 80mm 2.8, a 150mm f4, plenty of rolls of film, and plenty of space to spare. Speaking of alternative loadouts, if you go back to the top compartment and you find yourself not needing clothes, maybe you're just going out for a couple hours, and maybe you need to use a flash, that top compartment can actually fit a ProPhoto B10 or any similar size light. You could use that with the top compartment. You could put your camera and your lenses in the bottom compartment, and you could have a complete setup in this tiny compact bag. Now, in this episode, I did show you plenty of examples of a full loadout in this 18-liter bag. And when it was fully loaded out, yeah, it got a little bloated, but it was still comfortable to carry around. Now, in reality, I almost never load out a bag past about 80%. And when it's about 80%, I feel like that's the most comfortable. Speaking of comfort, I found the shoulder straps to be comfortable. They didn't dig into my shoulders too much, and I found the padding on the back of the bag to be pleasing. In terms of build quality, the 640D polyester seems like it would hold up pretty well in the elements. I didn't see them cut any corners on the stitching, and so the construction of this bag gives me plenty of confidence to take it with me on professional paid traveling gigs. So this is my bag that I'm using for my everyday photography in 2024. I want to thank Brevitē for hooking me up with this jumper in pine green. If you think this bag is cool and you want to pick one up or you want to get the bigger one, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can get this bag today. That does it for today's episode. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching today. What's your go-to bag? Tell me about it in the comments below. Do you own a Brevitē Jumper bag? Tell me about that in the comments below. And if you like this channel, I humbly ask you to click the subscribe button below. And if you like my opinions about photography and videography related subjects and you want to hear them in their more unfiltered versions, I highly recommend you go check out my other YouTube channel, the F11 Photography Podcast. And if you just want to listen to the podcast on your commute to work, you can check us out on both Apple and Spotify. And until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.